This is the Whole Care Network. Helping you tell your story one podcast at a time. Content presented in the following podcast is for information purposes only. Views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of the host and guest and may not represent the views and opinions of the Whole Care Network. Always consult with your physician for any medical advice, and always consult with your attorney for any legal advice. And thank you for listening to the Whole Care Network.
Hello, my friend. This is Isabel Malgarejo, your host, and this is a Time to Care the Caregivers podcast. Hey, have you ever heard about the revenge bed procrastination? I hadn't until recently, and I think it's a great topic to talk about today. So let's get started. About a month ago, or a few weeks ago, I came across the term of revenge bed procrastination. I'm going to start with the definition of it, and I'm going to read it to you, because otherwise it might not come out very well. So this is a phenomenon in which people put off going to bed to engage in activities that they don't have time for during the day. How true is this for all of you caregivers? We often take time before going to bed. Just take that time to do the things that we didn't have time to do during the day. And it's oftentimes when everybody goes to sleep, when everything is quiet, when you actually take time for yourself. Isn't that sad? I do have a story about that. Last weekend, for those of you who don't know this about me, I'm part of the executive committee for a women's club. And last week we went on retreat to plan the full year of activities. In this retreat, I don't know why or who made the decision to host this event in Galveston, which is 5 hours away from where I live, which meant that on Friday, most of us worked full day Friday. We drove for 5 hours and we went to bed right away. Then we worked Saturday all day long, and then we worked Sunday a little bit and then drove back home. And just to make this story short, I was left without a weekend. And for me, weekends are crucial because it's the only time during the week in which I can actually decompress. It's the only time in the week in which I can do whatever I want. I can watch TV, I can paint, I can go out with friends, I can relax, I can go to restaurants, whatever it is people do or I do. It's during the weekends when I have time to do it. And last week, I didn't have any time. I got home around 7 on Sunday, and that was pretty much it. That's it. Period. Over. No fun time, no relaxing time, nothing. And as a result of that, I took advantage of my few hours on Sunday to do everything I didn't have to do over the week. And worst of all, I didn't even do something fun. I was working at home. And I went to bed super late, and these just kept dragging all week long. Every single day, I went to bed late, just trying to keep up with what I didn't do. Because I was craving those moments. Actually, I had already planned talking about this topic for July. I plan my podcasts 1 month in advance, and then I record them, all of them, one day, and then they're edited, and then I share them with you. But I was not expecting this to happen, and I think it just came in the right moment for me to share about this experience with you. And it is so funny because I had one of the toughest weeks ever, probably in my life, honestly. I was so drained of energy, of motivation, of care that there was one day this week in which I just cried all day long. And I'm laughing at myself because I am very resilient. I can handle a lot of stuff. And just the lack of sleep put me in the worst of moods. And it dragged for a full week until today that I was able to sleep and I was able to go out and be in nature. But it was a full week of stuff going on. I felt it so much that I find it very important for you to start paying attention to this. What are you doing before you go to bed? Once everybody goes to sleep, once you're by yourself and you have actually time for you, what are you doing? Take some time right now to think about it. And once everybody goes to bed, what are you doing that you didn't have time to do during the day? Was it some cleaning? Was it reading a book? Was it getting into the bathtub and taking some time for yourself? The possibilities are endless. The truth is, I have a lot of friends that refer doing stuff before they go to sleep because that's the time of day in which they can just decompress and they wait for their kids, their spouses, everybody at home to be asleep, to be able to have time for themselves. The truth is, we can continue doing that, or the alternative is to educate everybody at home on how to treat us. I would advocate and I would suggest for you to educate others on how to treat you better. And here are some ideas on how people can treat you better or how you can educate people on treating you better. The first one is saying no. And a very clear example for me is that I'm working two full-time jobs and I took over this position knowing that I had a full-time job and another full-time job. I'm bringing to life a business and I'm doing all of these things. And I took a position when I knew that I already had way too much on my plate. And I took this position just because I felt that I had to say yes to being part of the community. And that's what I did. That I took a position knowing that I had already too much on my plate. And I said yes. Don't be like me. Say no more often. Learn to say no. It is tough. I know. Here I am talking to you, telling you what to do, even though I accepted a full year position and I don't have enough time to do it. So just say no. Be brave and say no. Another thing that you can do is invite others. Invite others into your life. Invite others in the caregiving journey. Invite others to be part of whatever you're doing. Maybe ask someone to cook dinner for one day. Give responsibilities to other people. That is a great way. Maybe you live by yourself. Maybe you live alone and maybe you're whatever it is, but you can still find someone to take off your plate something. We can always find someone. Always. In this example of me taking on this executive position, I'm planning to delegate a lot. And if any of these people from this organization are listening to me, get ready because I'm going to be delegating a lot. Sorry, not sorry, but we need to learn how to delegate. And we need to learn, finally, how to choose the things that are really important and the ones that are not that important. Today is a Saturday, and as I mentioned, I didn't have a week. I didn't have time for myself throughout the week. I had already planned to work on Saturday after going for a hike all morning and having lunch with my friends. So here I am on a Saturday recording this podcast, and in the morning, I did a list with probably 15 things that I wanted to do today. As I was recording and as I was going through my list, I was thinking, okay, Isabel, you can't do all of this today. You deserve to rest before you before the Saturday is over, and you need to rest on Sunday because you need time to decompress. So you don't live exactly the same situation next week. You need to do whatever you want to do, whatever your body is telling you to do. I went through my to-do list. I took off anything that I could avoid doing, anything that was not important to do today, that I could do another day or another time. I just put and I just left my list to be about 5 items. And I might not even finish all of them. It is 3:30 in the afternoon. I'm planning to work probably 2 or 3 more hours, and then I'm done for the day. Whatever I manage to fit in this time, I will, but I won't be working after 6 p.m. And I think we are taught to do everything in our to-do list. We are taught that we don't deserve to rest until everything is done. After experiencing one of my worst weeks in my life in terms of mood, in terms of how the lack of energy, the lack of motivation, and the lack of everything, today I'm deciding not to burn out again. I've decided to be very conscious about the work that I do. And most importantly, I'm becoming very aware of feeding my body, my feelings, my soul, my energy, my whole self with positivity. I'm filling myself with positive energy. I went out on a hike this morning with friends. I was in nature, so I filled my soul. I went for a walk with my dog, and I made sure that everything that I did in the morning and everything I will be doing tomorrow will be to fill the empty cup that I had last week. I know not every one of you have the opportunity to have a full day for yourselves. I know that sometimes it is tough, but I really highly encourage you to remove all of those items that you can do on another time. All of them. If there's something that you don't do today and nothing is going to happen, then put it for another day. I'm recording this podcast because if I don't do it today, then it won't be ready for next month. So I'm doing this today. Plus, I love recording this podcast. And I'm doing this today, but I'm really enjoying myself, and I want you to enjoy yourself as well. So, whatever you are doing, make sure that you are filling your cup every single day, every single week. And if you only have a few hours, make them count. And make sure that you give yourself a few hours every week, a few minutes every day to fill your cup, because we don't want this. We don't want, or I don't want you to be burnout. I don't want you to be putting sleep aside because you're taking that moment in which everybody's asleep to do the things that you need to do for yourself. So take some time off and prioritize those 8 hours of sleep that you deserve. You really deserve them. Thank you so much for joining me today. It was a pleasure talking with you. I would love for you to leave a review. So please take 1 minute to sit down. I'm going to tell you what to do. You're going to take 5 minutes of your time right now. The first thing that you're going to do is you're going to sit down. You're going to review this podcast however you want to review it. If you don't like it, that's okay. Just leave us a review. I want to know what you think about this podcast, and that's the best way for you to let me know what you think about this. And secondly, I want you to sit down, look at your to-do list, or make one to-do list, and remove 80% of what you find there. Okay, see you next week. Bye-bye.
This is the Whole Care Network. Helping you tell your story one podcast at a time.